Hardwick.
Thank you. Mine is an inquiry.
Okay.
I was just looking back, and it was January 29th, 2019, so 2 years ago, that I asked in council a question on a housing file about the nature of the Housing Vancouver targets of a goal of 72,000 new homes over the decade. I asked that again on February 26, 2019. And in May, I brought forward a motion called Recalibrating the Housing Vancouver Strategy Post-COVID-19. I brought forward the motion. I actually introduced the motion, much as we just did here now on May 12th, 2020. Subsequent to that, I had a Zoom call the next day on May 21st with Gil Kelly, the Director of Planning, and Dan Garrison in Housing Policy and Regulation, together with several of my academic urban geography colleagues, Dr. David Lay, Dr. John Rose, and Andy Yan. Over that 90-minute call, we talked at length about the missing data that we really needed to be able to understand the rationale behind the Housing Vancouver targets and to get a better understanding of where we need to be going with housing. And we had a very fruitful call. We had an agenda advance. And I took copious notes. I subsequently revised the motion, putting in bullet points the data sets that myself and my academic colleagues had requested. Subsequent to that, I ran my amended motion by the Director of Planning, who concurred and told me that I had captured the detail of our meeting together. I brought that motion to Council, and we had an active debate about it, and it did pass unanimously with the direction to staff to provide a memo by the end of July with data attached. It had been suggested that a report would take too much time and involve a bunch of analysis, but by providing only a memo with the data attached, which was of interest to, again, my academic colleagues, that would suffice and could be quite easily presented. This is not the first time that I've brought this forward, because at the end of July, we got what was really a report with findings and not what had been understood, which was that we were to receive data. And by data, I mean in machine readable forms, Excel, shape files for GIS files. This was the nature of the conversation. So we went back and responded to the memo and went point by point through analyzing where the data had not been provided and suggesting that to create the graphs and charts, there had to be data behind it to please provide. I came forward under inquiries in September 15th and asked this. And at the time, Mr. Mayor, you agreed to help move this forward. You and I had a conversation subsequently at the end of October. So my point is, here I am 2 years later in January, after asking for an explanation and having a unanimously approved motion that directed staff to provide a memo with data. So my inquiry is, when are we going to see the data? Because if staff is not providing what it was directed to do, then we have a problem, and I hate to continue bringing this up. But until that's provided, the terms of the motion, which was approved by Council, have not been met.
Okay, thank you.